Welcome back to Africa Uncovered. Tonight, we're traveling to a city that shouldn't exist. A city born from greed, built on secrets, and surrounded by mysteries that refuse to die. Imagine walking through a quiet South African town late at night. The streets are empty. The wind moves between old buildings. Everything seems normal. But beneath your feet lies a hidden world. A world of tunnels, forgotten chambers, collapsed shafts, and secrets buried so deep that some people believe they were never meant to be found. Because more than 150 years ago, something extraordinary happened here. Men arrived poor and left as millionaires. Some became kings of industry, others disappeared without explanation. And beneath the city, diamonds worth billions of dollars were pulled from the earth. Yet even today, nobody knows exactly how many diamonds were truly found. Nobody knows how many vanished. And nobody can explain the strange stories that continue to emerge from the depths of Kimberley. Stories of missing miners, hidden vaults, secret tunnels, and discoveries that were never reported to the public. But perhaps the strangest mystery of all is that the greatest treasure beneath Kimberley may never have been a diamond. Because according to local legends, something else was hidden underground. Something so valuable that powerful men spent decades keeping it secret. And before tonight's story ends, you'll see why some people call Kimberley the secret diamond city. Before we begin, I want to ask you something. If you discovered a map leading to a hidden treasure beneath an abandoned diamond mine, would you enter the tunnels? Comment yes or no below. And if you're fascinated by Africa's greatest mysteries, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Africa Uncovered, and turn on notifications. Because tonight's journey begins with a single stone. A stone that changed South Africa forever, and unleashed a mystery that still isn't fully solved today. The year was 1866. South Africa was very different from what it is today. Most of the world paid little attention to this remote region. There were no massive mining cities, no diamond empires, no fortunes waiting to be made. At least, that was what people believed. Then, a young boy found something unusual, a small, shining stone. At first, nobody thought much about it. Children often collected strange rocks. But this one was different. When experts finally examined it, the truth shocked everyone. It was a diamond. A real diamond. News traveled slowly in those days, but when it arrived, it exploded across continents. Europe heard about it. America heard about it. Australia heard about it. And suddenly, thousands of people became obsessed with one dream: finding diamonds. More discoveries followed, each one larger than the last. Each one convincing more people that unimaginable wealth lay hidden beneath South African soil. Soon, wagons began arriving from every direction. Then came traders, then prospectors, then adventurers, then criminals. Everyone wanted a piece of the treasure. Entire families traveled for weeks. Some traveled for months. Many sold everything they owned to make the journey. They crossed rivers, deserts, mountains, and dangerous wilderness, all for a chance to become rich. At first, they lived in tents. Thousands of tents, stretching across the landscape like a temporary city. But nobody expected what happened next. The diamonds kept appearing. More and more. Day after day, week after week, month after month. The rush became unstoppable. Within only a few years, an empty landscape transformed into one of the busiest places on Earth. Buildings appeared. Roads appeared. Businesses appeared. Banks appeared. And eventually, Kimberley was born. A city created almost entirely because of diamonds. People called it a miracle. Others called it madness. But beneath the excitement, darker forces were already at work. Because wherever enormous wealth appears, power follows. And where power exists, secrets are never far behind. At the center of everything stood a giant wound in the earth, a hole unlike anything most people had ever seen. At first, it looked ordinary, just another mining excavation. But year after year, it grew larger and deeper. Thousands of workers dug endlessly, using picks, shovels, ropes, and pure determination. The result became known as the Big Hole, one of the largest hand-dug excavations in human history. From above, it looked almost impossible, a massive crater carved into the planet itself. And every meter deeper revealed more diamonds, more wealth, more opportunity, but also more danger. The deeper miners dug, the more unstable conditions became. Accidents increased, tunnel collapses occurred, workers disappeared. Some deaths were officially recorded, others were not. And that is where the mystery truly begins. Because strange stories started spreading throughout Kimberley. Stories whispered late at night. Stories told inside bars and mining camps. Stories about diamonds that vanished. A miner would discover a valuable stone. Word would spread. People would celebrate. Then, suddenly, the diamond disappeared. No official record. No public sale. No explanation. At first, everyone blamed thieves. That seemed logical. After all, diamonds attract criminals. But the stories kept happening. Again, and again, and again. Too often to be coincidence. Some miners became convinced that powerful individuals were secretly taking the most valuable discoveries before they ever reached public records. Others believed hidden smuggling networks operated beneath the city. And a few believed something even stranger. They believed secret chambers existed somewhere beneath Kimberley. Chambers filled with unregistered diamonds. Treasure hidden away from governments. Hidden away from the public. Hidden away from history itself. Most people laughed at these stories, yet the rumors never disappeared. Instead, they grew stronger. And then something happened that made the rumors impossible to ignore. Several miners claimed they had discovered underground tunnels that did not appear on any official maps. Tunnels leading away from the main mining areas. Tunnels seemingly built for purposes nobody could explain. Some said the tunnels connected secret storage rooms. Others claimed they led toward hidden vaults. But whenever someone attempted to investigate further, the story usually ended the same way. The evidence vanished. The tunnel collapsed. Or the witness suddenly stopped talking. Coincidence? Maybe. But in Kimberley, coincidence was becoming increasingly difficult to believe. Because this city wasn't just producing diamonds, it was producing mysteries. And the deeper people searched for answers, the darker the story became. Because soon, a handful of powerful men would gain control over nearly everything. The mines, the money, the diamonds, and perhaps even the secrets hidden beneath the city itself. And in Part 2, we'll uncover the rise of the Diamond Kings, the men who became richer than entire nations, and the mystery that some historians still refuse to discuss today. The sun rose over Kimberley once again, but this was no longer the rough mining camp that had appeared almost overnight. Something had changed. The tents were disappearing. Permanent buildings were rising. Money flowed through the streets like a river. And while thousands of ordinary miners still dreamed of becoming rich, a small group of men had already figured out how to become something far more powerful. They realized the real fortune wasn't hidden inside the diamonds. It was hidden inside control. Control of the mines, control of the workers, control of the land, and most importantly, control of information. Because in a city built on treasure, knowledge was often worth more than diamonds. Every day, thousands of men climbed into dangerous pits. They worked beneath the burning African sun, breathing dust, risking collapse, risking injury, risking death. All for the possibility of finding a stone that could change their lives forever. Most never found one. Some found small diamonds. A few found large ones. But almost none became truly wealthy. Instead, the greatest fortunes were accumulating somewhere else. Behind office doors, inside private meetings, far away from the men doing the digging. As the years passed, competition between mining claims became fierce. Thousands of individual claims covered the area. Each owner wanted more land, more diamonds, more power. And slowly, one by one, those small claims began disappearing. Purchased, merged, absorbed. Until fewer and fewer people controlled larger and larger sections of Kimberley. The city was changing, and so was the balance of power. Some men became legends, names that would later appear in history books, names connected to unimaginable wealth. But behind the public image of success were stories rarely discussed. Stories whispered by workers, stories shared after dark, stories about secret deals, hidden shipments, and diamonds that never appeared in official records. The deeper the mines became, the stranger the rumors grew. Workers spoke of discovering stones so valuable that supervisors immediately removed them. No paperwork, no witnesses, no explanation. The diamonds simply vanished. Others claimed they had seen armed guards transporting locked containers late at night. Containers that never appeared on inventory reports. Nobody knew what was inside, but everyone had theories. And in Kimberley, theories spread quickly, especially when people were desperate. Some believed secret collections of diamonds were being hidden away by powerful businessmen. Others believed wealthy investors were secretly moving stones out of the country. But there was another rumor, a darker rumor, one that refused to die. According to old stories, certain discoveries were considered too valuable to report publicly, not because they were diamonds, but because of where they were found, deep underground, in areas nobody expected to exist. One miner claimed his team broke through a rock wall and discovered an enormous hidden chamber. Another claimed he found tunnels stretching far beyond official mining boundaries. Others described underground spaces that seemed older than the mine itself, older than Kimberley, older than the city, older than everything above it. Most historians dismiss these stories, but what makes them fascinating is how similar they are. Different people, different years, successful. But underneath that success, fear was growing. Because the deeper miners dug, the more dangerous conditions became. The walls of the giant pit grew steeper. Rockfalls became common. Accidents increased. Entire sections collapsed without warning. Every worker understood a terrible reality. The mine could kill you at any moment. One wrong step, one unstable wall, one mistake, and everything could end. Yet they kept digging, because diamonds were still being found. Every discovery fueled new hope. Every rumor fueled new dreams. Every story fueled new greed. And greed has a strange effect on people. It convinces them to ignore danger. It convinces them to take risks. It convinces them to believe that fortune is only one step away. That belief drove Kimberley forward. But it also created something else. Secrets. The kind of secrets powerful people protect at any cost. One evening, according to local accounts, a group of workers noticed unusual activity near one section of the mine. Several officials arrived unexpectedly. Armed guards appeared. Access Others believed it was a hidden underground cavity. A few insisted it was evidence of a secret storage vault. The truth was never confirmed. And perhaps that's exactly why the story survived. Because mysteries grow stronger when answers are missing. By now, Kimberley had become one of the most famous places on Earth. Newspapers around the world reported on its wealth. Investors poured money into the region. Governments paid attention. And thousands continued arriving with dreams of fortune. Yet the city itself was beginning to change. The excitement of discovery was slowly being replaced by something colder, something more organized. The age of individual fortune hunters was ending. The age of powerful diamond empires was beginning. And with that change came even greater secrecy. Records became controlled. Access became restricted. Information became valuable. The public saw success, but beneath the surface, mysteries multiplied. Then came one of the strangest stories ever connected to Kimberley. A story so unusual that many people dismissed it immediately. Yet it continues to appear in local legends even today. According to the tale, a miner discovered something hidden deep beneath the earth. Not a diamond, not gold, not a gemstone of any kind. Something else. Something contained inside a sealed underground chamber. Nobody knows exactly what it was. The descriptions vary. Some say it was a collection of rare artifacts. Others say it was a hidden cache of valuables. And some claim it was evidence that certain parts of the underground network existed long before the mining operations began. The miner reportedly informed his supervisors. Within hours, officials arrived. The area was closed, and shortly afterward, access to that section vanished completely. No reports, no records, no explanation, only rumors. And in Kimberley, rumors often outlive facts. Because facts can be buried. Records can disappear. Witnesses can leave. But stories survive. They pass from generation to generation, growing stronger, growing stranger, waiting for someone brave enough to search for the truth. And as the years passed, one question continued haunting the city. If Kimberley produced so many diamonds, if so much wealth emerged from beneath the earth, then why do so many stories focus not on what was found, but on what disappeared? Because what vanished beneath the Diamond City may be far more important than anything ever brought to the surface. And the deeper we go into this mystery, the darker it becomes. As the 19th century drew closer to its end, Kimberley was no longer just a mining city. It had become something far bigger, something far more influential. The diamonds pulled from its soil were reaching royal families, powerful businessmen, governments, and financial institutions across the world. Fortunes were being created at a speed rarely seen in human history. But while the world looked at the diamonds above ground, very few people paid attention to what was happening below it. Beneath Kimberley existed a labyrinth, a maze of tunnels stretching through darkness. Some were officially mapped, many were not. New passages appeared constantly as miners chased diamond-bearing rock deeper into the earth. And with every new tunnel came new stories. Some workers claimed strange sounds echoed through sections of the underground network, sounds that could not be explained. Footsteps where nobody should have been. Metal striking stone in abandoned areas. Voices heard in places considered empty. Most dismissed such stories as exhaustion. Mining was brutal work, long hours, dangerous conditions, little sleep. Yet the reports continued, again and again, from different workers, different locations, different years. One miner reportedly swore he discovered a narrow passage hidden behind a rock face. The opening was small, easy to miss. Curious, he entered. The tunnel stretched farther than expected, far beyond active mining areas, far beyond places shown on official maps. He followed it for several minutes. Then the tunnel opened into a chamber. What he saw there would haunt him for the rest of his life, at least according to the story. The chamber was filled with wooden crates, dozens of them, perhaps hundreds. Some appeared untouched for years, others looked newer. But before he could investigate further, he heard voices approaching. Fearing trouble, he fled. When he returned the following day with other workers, the entrance was gone, sealed, hidden, almost as if officially, mining accidents explained many of them. That much was true. The mines were dangerous. Rockfalls happened. Tunnels collapsed. Lives were lost. Nobody denied that reality. Yet some disappearances seemed different. Some workers vanished without entering dangerous areas. Others disappeared after claiming to have discovered something unusual. In several cases, friends later reported hearing strange details before the individuals vanished. Claims of hidden rooms, claims of secret shipments, claims of discoveries they planned to reveal. Then, suddenly, nothing. No evidence, no explanation, no answers. Years passed. The stories accumulated. And still, nobody could separate fact from fiction. That uncertainty only made the mystery stronger. Because uncertainty creates curiosity, and curiosity creates legends. By the early 20th century, Kimberley had already become one of the most famous diamond cities in history. The largest discoveries had transformed the region forever. The massive excavation known as the Big Hole stood as proof of human ambition. Visitors arrived from around the world to see it. Newspapers, a version where secret tunnels connected forgotten chambers, where priceless diamonds disappeared before reaching public view, where powerful men knew more than they admitted, and where some discoveries were allegedly buried instead of revealed. Then an extraordinary rumor emerged, a rumor that still survives today. According to local legend, somewhere beneath Kimberley lies a hidden vault. Not a bank vault, not an official storage room, a secret vault. Built during the height of the diamond rush, a place where unregistered stones were allegedly stored. Diamonds too valuable, too sensitive, or too controversial to enter official records. Nobody knows where this vault supposedly exists, if it exists at all. Some believe it lies beneath abandoned mine tunnels. Others think it was destroyed long ago. A few insist it remains hidden even now, waiting, undiscovered, untouched. But here's where the mystery becomes truly fascinating. How many fortunes disappeared into private collections? And how many secrets remain trapped underground? The deeper researchers looked into Kimberley's past, the more they realized something strange. The city's history wasn't simply incomplete. It was fragmented. Pieces existed everywhere, but the full picture remained frustratingly out of reach, like a puzzle missing its most important pieces. Then, decades later, a discovery would force people to reconsider everything they thought they knew. A discovery hidden within old documents. A discovery that suggested some of the rumors may not have been rumors at all. And if those documents were genuine, then the greatest secret of the Diamond City had never been revealed. It had only been hidden, waiting for someone to connect the clues, waiting for someone to uncover the truth. And what those forgotten records suggested would shock everyone who encountered them. Because the mystery of Kimberley was never only about diamonds. It was about power, control, and a secret worth protecting for generations. Years passed, then decades. The miners who had once flooded into Kimberley grew old. Many died. Others moved away. Entire generations came and went, Yet the stories refused to disappear. In fact, something strange happened. The older Kimberley became, the stronger the mystery grew. Because time has a powerful effect on secrets. It erases evidence. It removes witnesses. And sometimes, it makes the truth almost impossible to separate from legend. By the middle of the 20th century, most people assumed the great days of discovery were over. The giant fortunes had already been made. The largest diamond finds were part of history. The city had transformed into something quieter, more stable, less chaotic, at least on the surface. But beneath that calm exterior, researchers began uncovering inconsistencies. Small inconsistencies at first, the kind most people would ignore. Numbers that didn't match, records that contradicted each other, shipments that appeared in one document but disappeared from another, missing pages, missing reports, missing inventories. Individually, none of these discoveries seemed important. Together, they painted a very different picture. A picture suggesting that Kimberley's history might not be as complete as people believed. One historian spent years studying old mining records. At first, he expected to confirm known facts. Instead, he encountered mystery after mystery. Entire sections of documentation appeared incomplete. Some years contained unusual gaps. Certain transactions lacked explanations, and several references pointed toward materials that no longer existed in official archives. The deeper he investigated, the stranger things became. It was almost as if somebody had intentionally removed pieces of the story. Not enough to attract attention, just enough to make the full truth impossible to reconstruct. That realization changed everything. Because missing information creates an uncomfortable question. Why remove it at all? If nothing important was hidden, why hide anything? The historian eventually published some of his findings. The reaction was immediate. Many experts dismissed the claims. Others found them fascinating. A few quietly admitted they had noticed similar inconsistencies themselves. Suddenly, old rumors gained new life. The secret vault, the hidden tunnels, the undocumented discoveries, the mysterious shipments. Stories once dismissed as mining folklore were being discussed again. Not as proven facts, but as possibilities. And possibilities are powerful, especially when they involve one of the richest diamond regions in history. Around the same time, another curious discovery emerged. Researchers examining old photographs noticed something unusual. Several images showed structures that no longer existed. That wasn't surprising. Cities change, buildings disappear. But some of these structures were never mentioned in official records. No permits, no construction reports, no explanations. Yet there they were, clearly visible, standing in photographs taken during the height of Kimberley's mining era. One building attracted particular attention. Located near a restricted section of the mining zone, it appeared repeatedly in photographs spanning several years. Then suddenly, it vanished. Not just from the landscape, from the records. Almost no written references remained. Very few people even knew it had existed. What was it used for? Nobody knew. Who operated it? Nobody knew. Why did it disappear? Again, nobody knew. The mystery deepened, and so did public fascination. Because human beings are naturally drawn toward hidden things, toward unanswered questions, toward doors that appear locked. And Kimberley seemed filled with locked doors. Then came perhaps the most controversial theory of all, a theory that divided historians. According to this theory, some of the largest diamond discoveries in Kimberley's history were never publicly announced. Not because they didn't happen, but because revealing them would have affected global diamond prices. The logic was simple. Diamonds derive value partly from scarcity. If the world suddenly learned that enormous new quantities existed, prices could fall. Markets could react. Fortunes could change. Was there evidence for this theory? Some. Was there proof? No. And that distinction mattered. But the idea captured people's imagination, because it fit perfectly with Kimberley's reputation. A city where secrets seemed possible. A city where powerful interests had enormous influence. A city where information itself could be worth millions. The more researchers explored these possibilities, the more one conclusion emerged. Whether the legends were true or not, Kimberley had become something unique. It was no longer merely a location. It had become a mystery, a living mystery, one built from history, wealth, ambition, and unanswered questions. Then something happened that shocked even experienced investigators. An old collection of private correspondence surfaced. Letters written during the height of the diamond rush. Most were ordinary business communications, but among them were several strange references. References to special shipments. References to restricted discoveries. References to items not intended for public declaration. The wording was vague, frustratingly vague. No diamonds were specifically mentioned. No locations were identified. No names revealed exactly what was being discussed. Yet somewhere beneath the streets of the secret diamond city, there may be nothing at all. Or there may be forgotten tunnels, lost chambers, hidden records, or discoveries nobody ever revealed. The truth remains buried, perhaps forever. And that is the shocking revelation. After more than a century of searching, investigating, and questioning, nobody truly knows where the mystery ends and the reality begins. Because Kimberley was never just a city built on diamonds. It was a city built on human ambition, human greed, human dreams, and human secrets. The diamonds made Kimberley famous, but the unanswered questions made it immortal. And maybe, just maybe, the greatest treasure hidden beneath the secret diamond city isn't a diamond at all. It's the mystery itself. But before you decide that the story ends there is one final chapter. A chapter that very few people talk about. A chapter that transforms Kimberley from a historical mystery into something almost haunting. Because every great mystery leaves behind echoes, and Kimberley is full of them. Walk through the city today. Stand near the edge of the big hole. Look down into that enormous scar carved into the earth, and try to imagine what happened there. Thousands of men, millions of tons of rock, fortunes created overnight, dreams destroyed just as quickly, lives changed forever. The deeper you think about it, the stranger it becomes. Human beings dug one of the largest hand-excavated holes in history. Not for survival, not for food, not for shelter, for stones. Tiny stones hidden beneath the earth. That obsession changed everything. Countries changed. Economies changed. Power structures changed. Entire industries were born. And all of it began here, in this isolated corner of South Africa. That alone feels unbelievable. Yet what fascinates historians even more is what happened afterward. Most boomtowns disappear. Most mining settlements become ghost towns. Most rushes eventually end. But Kimberley survived. The city remained. The stories remained. The mystery remained. Almost as if the land itself refused to let go of its secrets. Local residents still share stories, not because they claim to know the truth, but because the unanswered questions never stopped. Older families speak about relatives who worked the mines. Some mention unusual discoveries. Others mention rumors passed down through generations. Many refuse to discuss details publicly, whether out of caution respect, or uncertainty. Nobody knows. Yet the stories continue. One local legend tells of a worker who supposedly found an extraordinary stone unlike anything ever recorded. Not merely large, not merely valuable, different. According to the tale, several officials arrived within hours. The worker was removed from the site. The stone vanished, and no public record was ever created. Did it happen? Nobody can prove it. But remarkably similar versions of the story appear again and again. Different names, different dates, the same ending. The discovery disappears, the records disappear, and the truth disappears with them. Another legend speaks of underground maps. Maps showing tunnels never included in official surveys. Some treasure hunters claim copies still exist, hidden in private collections, stored in forgotten archives, or locked away by families connected to early mining operations. No verified map has ever surfaced publicly. Yet the rumors persist. And persistence is important, because false stories usually fade. Kimberley's stories refuse to fade. Generation after generation keeps them alive. That alone raises an interesting question. Why? Why do people continue talking about hidden chambers more than a century later? Why do rumors of secret vaults survive? Why does the city continue attracting researchers, historians, treasure hunters, and mystery enthusiasts? Perhaps because the story touches something universal: human curiosity, the desire to discover, the belief that something extraordinary might still be waiting, buried, hidden, forgotten. That belief has driven explorers for centuries, and Kimberley provides the perfect setting. A real place, a real treasure rush, a real history, mixed together with mysteries nobody has fully solved. Then there is the big hole itself. Millions of visitors have stood beside it, photographed it, studied it, admired it. Yet very few people realize how symbolic it truly is. Because the big hole represents more than mining. It represents human desire, the endless search for more wealth, more power, more success. People dug deeper and deeper, chasing fortune. But in many ways, they uncovered something else. A lesson, a warning, a reminder. Because not everyone who came to Kimberley became rich. Far from it. For every fortune created, thousands of dreams collapsed. For every millionaire, countless workers left with nothing. The city produced enormous wealth, but it also produced sacrifice, hardship, loss, and forgotten stories. Those forgotten stories may be the real hidden treasure of Kimberley. Not diamonds, not vaults, not secret tunnels. The people, the miners, the laborers, the dreamers. The men who crossed continents believing one discovery could change everything. Their stories built the city. Their efforts created the legend. Their hopes created the mystery. And perhaps that is the final revelation. The secret Diamond City was never hiding only diamonds. It was hiding humanity itself, its ambitions, its greed, its courage, its flaws. Everything buried together beneath layers of history. Today, satellites can photograph the Earth from space. Researchers can examine historical archives digitally. Technology can reveal details previous generations could never access. And yet, the mystery survives. That may be the most incredible part of all. Because despite modern tools, despite modern research, despite decades of investigation, nobody has uncovered every answer. Some records remain missing. Some stories remain unresolved. Yet mystery became the greatest treasure of all. So now let me ask you something. If you had the chance to explore a sealed tunnel beneath Kimberley, a tunnel nobody had entered for over 100 years, would you go inside? Or would you leave the mystery buried forever? Tell us your answer in the comments below. And if you enjoyed uncovering the secrets of one of Africa's most fascinating cities, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Africa Uncovered, and turn on notifications for more hidden mysteries, forgotten histories, and unbelievable stories from across Africa. Because sometimes, the greatest discoveries are not the treasures we find. They're the questions we never stop asking. Thank you for watching Africa Uncovered. Until next time, stay curious. And remember, some secrets aren't hidden because they're impossible to find. Some secrets are hidden because they're waiting for the right person to uncover them.